Hey, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So last session, we were discussing about, or basically the demo session. So we were understanding certain things about the DevOps, by the way. So here, what we are going to, So here, what we are going to do is we are going to just pin those particular discussions yesterday, what we had. So now yesterday, what we're talking about, so the roles and responsibilities. The roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer. Okay, so what we talked about, three things, remember? So what is the first thing? So the first thing is telling, so dealing with IAC. Infrastructure as a code. Okay, so for all your all your work is basically to automate the infrastructure. So that is one piece. And the second piece is so the next one is going with the CI/CD. Okay, so that means CI/CD. So why do you, okay, so let's say, why do you deal with the IAC, by the way? So deal with IAC because I want to provision infra for application to run, correct? So why I'm dealing with this is the reason. So why I'm doing CI/CD? So ensure the application is delivered smoothly to customers with minimal impact. Okay, so this is the another thing to consider. Okay, a third one is there, which is automation. So that is anyhow is okay everywhere. Okay, so anything you consider doing automation, so you'll be doing with that. So third point, if you just keep it aside, that's anyhow fundamental foundation you can consider. The first 2 points are very important. So deal with an IAC, provision infra for application to run. So provision infra means the pieces of infra would be like servers and things like that, right? So that is one important thing. And second thing is deliver the application smoothly. Now, where you have to deliver the application, because where the customer is accessing, yesterday I was giving one diagram, if you remember, or if you're not there, that's okay. So here, okay, so I have an environment, by the way. So the end user, so like, let's say users, if I say the icons, the end users, whoever is trying to access our .com, whoever is the one, so access our .com. Okay, whoever access our .com, so that means it is actually running in some servers or one server. Let's say keep it simple. So it is actually running inside a server. Okay. So it is actually running inside a server, and inside that particular server, an app is running, an application is running. So the end user will try to hit this. Okay. So they will try to hit our .com, which is running on the server. So now let's say if I were to do the IAC, by the way, so my IAC is actually going to point to the, okay, so the same server. Okay, it is pointing to the same server, if you understand. And also doing the CI/CD also will do the same thing, point to the, so the application which is running on the server. Okay, so as the first point is basically is, okay, so let it be that way. So the first point is, okay, talking about the server, and the second point is talking about the application running on the same server. Okay, so that's what our major goal, end of the day, the things is the applications runs on the server. Okay, now why I'm talking about this particular one is because we are actually going to start dealing with our role with the server, by the way. Okay. And this particular servers, okay, runs an operating system. Okay. These servers runs an operating system. So these servers runs an operating system, and that operating system is majorly is Linux. Okay. So the major operating system that we run over for this particular one is Linux. And that is the reason, okay. So, our syllabus also, if you look in, where is that? Let me just bring in. So the syllabus also, if you look in, the first one actually we are trying to start here is Linux. Okay. So the Linux is the one which is starting with, because these servers are Linux and we wanted to learn Linux, and yeah, so that's the reason. Now these particular Linux is a very generic word, by the way. So Linux is not an operating system. In fact, strictly talking, Linux is not an operating system, but generally, like, if you talk also is fine, but strictly if you go by paper, Linux is not an operating system. Okay. Now why Linux is not an operating system is because back in days, what is Linux is, because back in days there is something called as Unix, by the way. Okay, there is something called as Unix. In Unix, what is Unix is basically is your software and hardware will be made by the same vendor. So the software I made and the hardware I made was the same vendor, by the way. All right. So that is the reason. Okay, Unix is so costly, okay, because software is made by the same vendor and hardware is made by the same vendor, and it ultimately turns out to be costly, okay, because two reasons. One is the tech is completely owned by that guy, and second one is you get the ultimate performance because of that. No doubt in that, in the performance. The only living, only still living Unix hardware and the Unix software here is our Apple Mac hardware or Apple devices. Apple devices are purely Unix because Apple only will manufacture the device. Apple only will develop the software. But the other things are not like that. So Android is developed by someone and it is customized by the vendor, and the hardware is made by some third-party people of that. So it's all big ecosystem on the Android side. So that's where you usually see the less performance on Android devices, because iPhone devices are much performant. Same applies to the laptops as well. So your laptops of MacBooks are much costlier than a normal hardware that you run Windows, because Windows is made by another vendor, hardware is made by another vendor. Even inside the hardware also, a motherboard made by one vendor, okay, RAM made by another vendor. So things like that are there. But the whole ecosystem is controlled by Apple. So that's how they have the full control, and ultimately the performance comes into picture, and they maintain ultimate cost for that. Even though the cost is really not needed, they maintain the cost intentionally. Okay. So that is how we are going to, so that's how we are going to, or we were having Unix, by the way. Now where this Linux came from, okay. Now people were thinking, okay, so that, so hey, we want to break this layer. So Unix is quite difficult for anyone to use it. Why? Because it's too costly. I'm talking about late 1970s story. Okay. So, or maybe early 1980s, the Unix become, okay, so much famous, and it is there in the universities as a courses, by the way. But however, the people is not having enough hardware to practice it. Okay. So that's where, okay, there is a group formed which is called as GNU by Richard Stallman. Okay. So GNU Richard Stallman, so he actually, okay, proposed making some software which is something like Unix, but completely free. So you can see this. Richard Stallman launched the GNU project in September 1983. So to write a Unix-like computer operating system composed directly for free entirely of free software. So that was his idea completely. Okay. And so this guy actually started this particular group, and so some people started and all. So they were actually developing something, as a community. Okay, they were doing that. It was going very slow, by the way, but they couldn't actually. Now, in order to break the Unix, by the way, they should write some software over here, okay, which should break the. They should write something here which will break the software and hardware. Okay, so their idea was to write some software or break this layer. Software should be independently independentably run on any hardware is the idea, by the way. Okay, and that's how, okay, they came up with so this GNU project, and they couldn't succeed it. But there's another guy actually who actually, so as a college student, he made this successful in 1987 or 89, if I'm not wrong. So he is Linus Torvalds, and he actually, okay, made the code. He made this layer successful. Even as a team, they couldn't succeed. As a single person, he succeeded that. And he published a note saying that, I have done this somewhere in the internet, and the GNU team has collaborated. GNU team has collaborated with him that, so hey, we are doing this and all. And he liked it, and he went, okay, and he collaborated and gave this to the GNU. And that's where it actually came with, like, output is a GNU Linux. Whatever the Linux we are using is GNU Linux. Okay. Now, what is a Linux, by the way? Linux is neither the software nor the hardware, but it's a layer between, okay, that's a layer between software and hardware. Okay, that runs the software and hardware. So that is why it is GNU Linux, or Linux is not an operating system technically talking. And of course, no one will do anything with the Linux. Ultimately, it has to be an operating system for end users. By the way, that should be fine. Okay, so that's how the GNU Linux came into picture. Now, still, whatever you call it, up kernel.org, which is still released by, still the owner is, or the person who is still releasing here is Linus Torvalds only, still controls this. And so I think he recently announced also he's looking for his succeeders of, successors for this particular project to take care. So yeah, maybe someone might come in, that's okay, but this is what the history is. Now, what people will do is, so there are companies who will take this particular, this is completely free. This is 100% free. Now, there are companies who will come in and take this particular one, so which is called as companies like Red Hat. Okay, companies like Red Hat. Okay, so our companies like Ubuntu or Debian, you can call it Debian, or communities like Debian. Okay, these guys comes and take this particular GNU Linux. Take this GNU Linux, and these guys release an operating system. So now the Linux OS is ready here. So they actually release an operating system. A Linux OS is actually coming into this picture here. If it is a Red Hat, RHEL, if it is a Debian, maybe there are many things are there. Now you can check that history also. Linux distributions list. If you go to the Wikipedia, okay. So if you go there, now you can see this is the chart for, or this is the diagram for Linux, by the way. Now Slackware has their own Linux, okay, but whereas Slackware is not that famous. It was for some time, but not that great again. So Debian is the one. So from here, so one of the operating system which is evolved is Ubuntu. Okay, somewhere Ubuntu here comes here. Okay, it's Ubuntu, Xubuntu, Ubuntu Studio, Ubuntu born here. Ubuntu born in which year? You can see this is a timeline. So it came sometime in 2004. Okay, Ubuntu came in. All right. So this is the one. Okay, it came here, but it was born from the Debian idea. So you can see here, it just came from Debian. So that means hundreds of operating systems are there. We know one or two only, right? So, but there are many operating systems. So now the same way, Red Hat as a company, so they started one and they came in Red Hat Enterprise Linux. They announced Red Hat Enterprise Linux in some time in 2002. Okay. So now, I mean, Red Hat also, called it out as an open source. Now it is with IBM, Red Hat acquired IBM. The stories are a little bit different, but yeah, otherwise there are people even copies from here, like let's say Oracle company. Okay, so copies this particular Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay, and customize that little bit as per the EULA end user license agreement with Red Hat, or some license policies with Red Hat, and they will release the Oracle Linux, and they are a competitor to Red Hat. They copy Red Hat and sell against Red Hat. Funny, right? So that's why IBM changed that particular thing a little bit. So Red Hat can't be copied. Something it was changed, and so these people are struggling, by the way. All right. So this is how the story of Linux came into picture. Now, out of this Ubuntu versus Red Hat takes the prominence in the enterprise world because of two reasons. One reason is a very old reason. I mean, why Red Hat become famous over Ubuntu. And another reason is Red Hat as a company, by the way, it provides support. Okay. I mean, a lot of organizations, they need support, by the way, because engineering, I mean, every engineer may not know every problem. I mean, all of a sudden, by the way, so if you require some assistant on something, so having a support is always better, by the way. So a lot of companies think in this manner. Okay. So today and all, it's community, it's all okay, but still, so if you have support, by the way, you will get the vulnerability fixes much earlier. You have your own advantages, by the way. So that's the reason. So people still prefer, I mean, majority of the enterprise organizations prefer to go with the licensing with Red Hat. Okay. So whatever it is the reason, Red Hat is a leader, by the way, because of the support that you will get it from Red Hat. And the other one is in early stages of Ubuntu, it was known for malware. Okay. So even Stallman accused Debian. Okay. So there was a tough fight happening, but all of us, I mean, some time back, by the way, so Stallman actually accused somewhere, it was a very old one. I don't know, we'll find it out also. And Ubuntu accused Ubuntu, actually, explicitly talking about Ubuntu. Though Ubuntu is so famous, okay, calls spyware. Okay. Richard Stallman calls Ubuntu as a spyware. So though Ubuntu is slowly coming up, but enterprise did not actually, so liked it because, so some reason, like never trust on this guy earlier. Maybe now it is all fine with the maturity, but that's okay. So this statement actually, so caused little bit struggle for Ubuntu that time. Okay. And ultimately Red Hat become the, leader in that particular area. And this is what is the reason. So now the reason that you were talking about this is, so either it is Red Hat or Ubuntu. I mean, Ubuntu does not really matter, Debian. So you get an operating system. So you're going to learn that particular operating system and you manage that. But ultimately, there are slight changes from OS to OS about their vendor related things. Okay. So there'll be changes, but ideally the concept is same. It's just an operating system. And also, by the way, so it all came from Unix, right? Now, while actually Unix is actually making, I mean, when GNU wanted to make an alternate to the Unix, they want to make Unix-like operating system. You have read that particular statement, Unix-like operating system. That means they like Unix very well, but they don't like only the policy, by the way, of Unix, which is the licensing policy. So that's where whatever they made it is majority of the things from Unix only. So that means you have a Unix command, ls command in Unix. The same command is there in Linux also, because majority of the utilities, okay, which is a common utilities you use today, is being developed by this GNU community only. Okay, which are open source, and all these particular things will be inherited by these people, and these companies will contribute back also. That is a different story. Okay, so this is how, okay, don't confuse between Linux and Unix, by the way. So commands are same because by looking at it only, Linux was made. Okay, so that's how it is, and that's where even Red Hat and Debian, some commands still same. Okay, because those are coming from GNU. But some commands which is made by the vendor like Red Hat and Debian, those will be different. So that is how we are going to go with Red Hat, and we are going to learn Red Hat. Now, when you go with the Red Hat, by the way, Red Hat Linux OS list, if I go for Red Hat Linux, okay, this one. Now, currently, so these are the versions. Okay, so currently the version is Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9. Okay, so and the 8 is also there. All right. Now 9 is the latest version, so we'll be going with the 9 version in our training, by the way. So to learn the 9 version. or basically we're going to learn the 9 version, because older versions always will get deprecated. One day they will deprecate that. All right, so latest is 9. We'll be going with the 9 version. So what we are actually going to do is we will learn, or we are going to practice the things around RHEL 9. Okay, from Red Hat. So the reason is very simple. Like, I just wanted to bring the enterprise knowledge into the training. In enterprise companies, you'll go with Red Hat, and we'll use Red Hat, as simple as. So, right. So does this history makes sense? Any questions on this before proceeding? So same process. If you have any questions, please, you have to raise your hand. I'll come to you one by one, as simple as that.
First is that I want to know. So for this, actually, are we gonna have a quiz on this or an exam on this soon?
I already mentioned to you yesterday, don't go in the academic style. You should be responsible for your career. Okay. So
Right, but
yeah.
you said that there's a Google Drive shared with me. Are you uploading these meetings there?
You already got one YouTube link or something, right? So to watch the yesterday's demo,
Okay, where is that?
you got a WhatsApp message, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a WhatsApp message. No.
You should be getting it.
Okay, good.
Can you ping me the link, which link you used to join the session today? I can help you with that.
Okay, where do I go? Okay, then yeah, sure. I mean, I'll do that.
Let's also talk one more thing. Let's set the context, by the way. If anything out of topic, please bring in maybe end of session, okay, kind of a thing. And anything relevant to the topic which we discussed, let's go with the questions on that particular one. I know this is the first session, that's okay. But still, let's try to stick to the topic as much as possible. Any additional questions we'll take leisurely at the end. No worries on that.
Okay, yeah, sure. I was gonna say the same thing.
Sir, what about subscription of Red Hat?
So subscription of Red Hat. So Red Hat is, if Red Hat license tells that if it is not for a company use, by the way, you're free to use, not an issue. So we'll not be using any subscription for us.
Now, most of the people use CentOS as a practice.
CentOS changed the policy, right? So you're not aware of that. IBM changed the policy of CentOS. Earlier, if you look into this diagram, earlier I was showing one diagram, right? Now it is no more CentOS, right? CentOS is dead, actually. CentOS is closed. It's a closed shop. Okay. So now CentOS has been changed to CentOS Stream. It's been renamed as CentOS Stream. So, and it's all announced like, it's already ended the life, everything. Okay. Now, what is CentOS Stream, by the way? CentOS Stream made a development project onto the, development project of Red Hat. That means like, Red Hat is the final release and CentOS is a pre-release of RHEL. Okay. So that means like, so you're taking an untested vaccine to you. Okay. Enterprise companies don't like that. You're with me?
That's all. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. So, but however, the CentOS community started something called as Rocky Linux. Okay. So Rocky Linux was started by CentOS communities, 100% free. Rocky Linux is an open source, this one, 100% bug-free compatible with Red Hat Linux. And also in the end, also they tell that Linux is a registered trademark of Linus Torvalds, and RHEL and CentOS are the trademarks of Red Hat, by the way, and its subsidiaries like US. We are not affiliated or endorsed or sponsored by Red Hat. Okay. So if you want to use freeware completely out of Red Hat, then Rocky Linux is your landing place, not the Ubuntu anymore. But for us, it does not matter. Anything from the Red Hat family, the commands will be same, the approaches will be same, 100% same. It's all clones only. So no worries. So just look into that context only. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Not able to hear you, Tahir. Go ahead, Hitesh.
Yeah, hi, Raghu. Can we see the diagram that you
Yeah.
draw?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the block where it says Unix and software and hardware, so when you say it is a layer between software and hardware, what software are we talking about?
So, I mean, if a hardware is being driven, okay, that means there is some software that understands the hardware and you write it, right? It's called as
Mhm.
low-level code. Okay. So that software is called as Linux, and in another word, you can call it as kernel, is the actual one.
Okay, so can we say operating system, right? Operating system is a software which interacts with the hardware.
With Linux is a different thing. Okay. OS is actually made by, okay, OS is comprises of lot of softwares, correct?
Right.
So that software is developed by the vendors, and those softwares cannot run on the hardware directly. They should require an intermediate layer in between, so which can talks to the hardware, because that reduces the complexity of everyone dealing with hundreds of softwares, right? Now you have a layer, like let's say you have millions of devices. Now every millions of devices, every software vendor has to deal with to deal with that hardware. Now rather than that, if there is a third party which is actually dealing with all these devices, and whereas the software is just to interact with that particular software, it reduces a lot of complexity. While you're making the open source for every device, by the way, and you have to think like that only. So now 100% is not made by Red Hat for Red Hat operating system. So that core of the software that drives the hardware is being copied from GNU Linux. And that's how Linux is famous everywhere. You get it in Android devices, you get it in IoT devices, you use in cars, everywhere. It can drive any hardware.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, it's just meet. So since I heard somewhere that I think Ansible is owned by Red Hat. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah, true.
So is it also possible that Ansible works smooth with the Red Hat systems and with Debian systems? It may not work as expected or as smoothly.
Yeah. So let's stick to the topics. Okay. So anyhow, you asked it. There is an Ansible in there are two things, by the way. Ansible is owned by Red Hat. Ansible core is not owned by Red Hat. There is something called as let's say PyPI. So PyPI, which is a Python thing. So if I just search for Ansible, anyhow, I'll talk about this history a bit later. Now Ansible is owned by Red Hat, but there's also something called as Ansible-core is there. This is the actual open source Ansible. If you are using this, there is no compliance at all. If you are using this only, the compliance will come into picture. But anyhow, introduction to the Ansible, what happened, history will talk. No worries. For now, let it be.
Thank you.
All right, I don't see any more hands. So moving on. Now, this is a Red Hat Linux, or we want to use RHEL 9. Now, every one of you may be having, definitely none of you would be having a Linux as a desktop operating system, because desktops, we don't use Red Hat. Okay, let's go with the, again, usage of operating systems. Okay, I'm every time bringing up the information mostly from the other places only. I'm not telling what is in my mind. Okay, so yeah, again, so here talking consciously. So that's what I was trying to mention. Now, usually in this area, some arguments might come into picture, okay, because of, again, our limited visibility on some things, we usually think about something else. So that's where mostly Wikipedia information is something we can rely on. Now, if you look in device shipments as of 2015, Android is too much higher. Okay, I think later we did not got much data, it seems. But yeah, so this is what it is. No one disagrees, by the way, like out of 20 mobiles or 30 mobiles, one is only the other device, which is iPhone, with the remaining devices would always be Android only. Okay, so no question in that, right? So the same way, if I go for little this one, web clients where the web client runs again on the Android, because every Android device installs Google Chrome. So where the devices will have the web browsers more, or the web request comes more, is from Android only, no doubt in that. All right. So Android, and after that Windows is coming, desktops, and after that Apple iOS is coming, and Android, iPhones, and finally it is coming is Mac OS. Okay. These are web clients, by the way. I think the data published from 2021, 22. Now the same way, if I go for desktop operating system, also you will see Windows. No one denies that again. Okay. So here somewhere you will see the desktop operating systems also. Yeah, desktop and laptop computers. But when it comes to the big servers or big machines, which is servers, by the way, so you will see that the world was with this is the diagram, by the way. So here big computers, okay, always comes with Unix world, by the way, or earlier, and slowly replaced by Linux. Linux is the widely used one. Windows ecosystem is also there, okay, especially with Azure and all. Okay, but we're talking about the big machines only, anyhow, super computers, which is big servers, anyhow. But that's okay. But you generally need to understand is the compute world majorly is powered by Linux only. Okay, so that's what you need to understand. Servers you don't see particularly, like Unix versus Linux, like data I don't see in this particular diagram, but you can pick it up from there. Okay, so that means like servers, why I came to this particular point is Linux is so famous for server, but for my desktop, even I am not comfortable. You can do the job, no doubt you can do the job, but maybe a little bit not comfortable, because the richness of UI that you get it in Windows and Mac OS, you might not get it in Linux, but your job will be done fantastic, no doubt in that. You can be a professional. Okay, so this is how we are going to deal with Linux, by the way, mostly on the servers, not on the desktop. So that means none of you is having a desktop operating system in your desktop. Now I need to learn and practice. How do I practice? Okay, so that is where we are going to take the help of other things, by the way, not your desktops. Don't touch your desktops. Don't go into the fancy of installing Linux in your desktops, because you don't do that. Okay, you go for a company. Okay, so now you can't say that these, I know the things of Linux, but I practiced only or I know the things on the desktop, right? So it doesn't make sense. Okay, don't kill your desktop by installing Linux on your operating system. Sorry, Linux operating system on your Windows, by the way. So on top of like installing some hypervisors, don't kill that. Don't overkill your desktops. Don't worry at all. You'll get Linux for free on the browser itself. Somewhere on the browser, we will get it. But actually talking about, we need to take it up this one. So to some sort of a cloud, by the way. So that's where AWS cloud will come into picture. So every one of you would be signing up with, and taking an account in AWS, and slowly we can create the servers. But today I'll not create the servers. Okay. So to create the server, to create your AWS account and all. So after this training, so we'll share you all the details, by the way. So there is how do you sign up, and how do you register, how do you log in and all. This much is fine. You just sign up and log in. That much is okay. No worries on that. Okay, so that's fine. So just get your accounts ready. After the session, you go and sign up. We'll share you the details. Go and sign up. Keep your account ready. Don't do anything at all. We'll come to AWS one day, maybe just after 2 days. But just get your accounts ready. But if you're already having an account, feel free to use that. Free tier and all is all fancy. Like for our training, it won't work. So if you're already having an account, so just start using that. Not an issue. Okay. So this is how I would like to, so start on AWS, but not immediately. But whereas the next one, okay, so now until those 2 days, by the way, so where do I start learning the Linux? Okay, and that's where I'm going to take a platform hell, which is called as Killer Coda. So using the help of Killer Coda, I'll get the Linux and I'll simply use the Linux over there. All right. So these URLs and all will be shared with you. Don't worry. So this is the Killer Coda URL. I'll share with you. Okay. So going here, or generally going to the, this is my courses, by the way, but generally go to the Killer Coda also. You get other courses as well. Okay. You simply need a Linux. You click on this Linux. You simply get your Linux. Let's say LS examples. So they're telling you just sign it up. Okay. So maybe any of the link you can get. Maybe your Google integration you have. So click on Google integration. So just log in with your Google. It's only to validate whether you're not a bot kind of a thing. Okay. I agree. Crypto miners are here also. So okay. So you're getting some Ubuntu machine. That's okay. But if I go with if you go with my thing, then you'll get a Red Hat machine, as simple as that. So you have different tools here. So people are actually hosting courses and letting others to learn. So I just hosted my course as well, and so just only for Linux purpose, just for a couple of days. And here also I'll be going with this one. This is free of cost. No worry on that at all. So happily use that. And the Linux basics is the one we are going to use here. So just wait for it. Don't worry about what it is doing at all. And don't worry at all. So later you'll understand one day what it is actually happening here. But until then, just leave it. It will just do something and you'll get the prompt, by the way. Right, that's it. You got the prompt. And this is the Red Hat machine, by the way. So I just wanted to show something. Don't worry about even what I'm doing. So it is going to be maybe here you're getting a CentOS. Does not really matter. It is a Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9 only. Okay. So even I need to change this completely to the Red Hat. That's okay. It does not really matter. It's just a copy anyhow, because it's showing CentOS stream only. So which is a pre-release of Red Hat 9. Fine. Cool. So this is how we are going to start with learning the Killer Coda, or basically like learning Linux from Killer Coda, taking the help of Killer Coda until your AWS accounts are ready. We'll go with that. So maybe tomorrow. So today and tomorrow we'll just start with the basics, and day after tomorrow we are going to go with day after tomorrow we are going to go with AWS account, mostly end of the session. Okay. Does it sound clear? Any questions before proceeding?
Hello.
No. Yes.
Raghu, am I able to hear?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, actually, we have a in Killer Coda we have a 60 minutes time. Is that correct? So, is this any possible to expire without expiring?
Why do you need that way?
Okay.
60 minutes
So
is fine. Refresh it. You again get 60 minutes, right?
yeah, you're practicing in 60 minutes. After 60 minutes, the section will be expired. Correct? Whatever you have done.
What is the problem?
I
You're
mean,
doing practice
without,
only.
yeah.
No, I'm still confused. Like, what do you get by having it? Let's say, get it
Let's
for
suppose
48 hours. What do you get it?
no. Let's suppose you have practice in something. Correct? So whatever you have practicing, that section will be expired within 60 minutes only. So I don't want to expire those things. Is this any possible way to install something in our in our system?
No, you're not. You're overkilling yourself, right? What is the problem in losing? I mean, expire. Let it expire. What is the problem? Now, let's say you go to the internet bank. By the way, like say you observed anywhere 30 minutes or some minutes, it will expire. correct?
Yes, sir.
What is
Within one.
what is that you are losing there?
No, this is only for practicing purpose. That is the difference, sir. Correct.
That's it. You practice and let it expire. No problem. Again, I mean, you continue, you refresh and you continue your practice. You're not losing anything, right?
That is correct only.
Yeah. No, I still did not understand the context, by the way. So extending it for many hours, you'll not get anything at all. Just the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
will continue. But for them, they're providing free of cost. You should respect that also, right? Someone is providing you for something free. So they have their own challenges in maintaining. So now if everyone is actually continuously giving the session like that, they can't manage things from their side, right? Ideally. So expiry has to be there and you will not lose anything. So no worries at all. You can, yeah. Anyhow, this is only for 2 days. Third day, we are going to go with the Linux and it will not, nothing will happen. So it's our own boxes.
Okay, fine.
Sir, once can you come up with this Killer Coda topic once again?
Killer Coda is just a UI where you get a Linux on the browser. That's it. Can you just go a bit detail of what is your question?
It's like regarding this, I didn't get like we can use it for practice purpose or like as you said in AWS, we will use all these things. So same in that way, can we use here in Killer Coda?
No, I did not got your question completely.
No, like actually this Killer Coda thing only I didn't understand. So can you brief up that one?
If you can tell me what you did not understand, I can help you with that. Which part you did not understand?
Means once from about this topic only once repeat.
This is not a topic. This is just a URL where you get Linux for free. Just open the URL, use Linux, learn Linux. Not able to hear you.
Oh, okay.
No, highlight your question. If you are not telling your question, I can also can't generalize it, right? I need to understand your problem to answer it better.
No, actually, the thing is like with this Killer Coda, we can means for practicing this Linux, all these things, we can use this one, right? And
yes, to practice Linux, we are using 1 or 2 days Killer Coda. That's it.
okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, supposed to drop down my hand, but yeah, you already answered that 60-minute session for this Killer Coda. You already answered. Good. Yeah. So every time once we finish, we can again reopen it. We can work
Just
on it.
only 1 or 2 days only, boss. It's okay. Why so
No,
much work? It's
no.
okay. Refresh you
Yeah.
get. Refresh you get another 60 minutes.
But anyway, if we are getting free, right? If you know something, right? So definitely it will like not only 2 days. Yeah, always it will be good to us. That's it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Raghu. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you doing, Raghu?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Raghu, my question is that the Killer Coda we are using for 2 days. After that one, we will create the account in the meanwhile for the AWS. So for those two, you are gonna send us the link that from where we are gonna create the account for Killer Coda and AWS, right?
Yeah, we will send you
Yeah,
after the session.
for both of them, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, the next one is we wanted to start learning Linux. Right. So Linux is basically like, command line operating system. It's completely command based operating system. So now in Windows, you want to do something, it is going to be completely on the UI. You go all the mouse, take the mouse, click, 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 and all you do. Any activity you want to do, you do some clicks. But Linux is not like that. Linux is majorly like Linux also have a UI, but we don't use UI. Okay, why don't I use UI? Very simple, by the way. UI brings a lot of load onto the system. Okay, so the problem with the lot of load onto the system is, one is performance of the system. Okay, fine, servers usually come with like, so gigabytes of RAMs, like maybe 128 GB, 256 GB of RAMs, it will come. It can still fine. But there's another aspect to that as well. On the systems which are actually facing the public, the lesser the software, the lesser the risk comes into picture. Getting the point? So lesser the software, lesser the risk comes into picture. Okay, so that means as long as my software is thin, then I get the ultimate performance plus more security also. Okay, so the security aspect is very important, by the way, for the, so in the Linux, especially these are public facing machines, or the machines which actually runs its application, where you get the things from the, access from the outside world, like applications are open to the customers. So it's always very sensitive way that you have to handle it. Okay, that's where the Linux, we always meant to go with the command line because of thin software. Okay, and that thin software brings less softwares to be installed, and higher the security, okay, it will achieve, by the way, right? And another thing is, so these machines always sits in the remote, by the way. There's no point in having a UI also. You can simply deal with the command line, and command line is much efficient. Okay, so I'm telling you, command line is much efficient, and in one day, maybe you're just starting today, right? September 2024. Maybe by September 2025, you're continuously using the Linux, by the way, in your day-to-day life as well. I'm telling you, after that, you will feel that, Windows is the most difficult operating system you have been, dealing with all the time. Trust me, you'll start facing that. Okay, you'll feel that also. So how simple is Linux, and why it was made so complex in Windows? You will feel that. One day you will feel that. All right, so that's how, the Linux is a superpower system, and utilities you have especially on the command line, whereas Windows does not have that. Okay, now coming to the Linux, everything you want to do, you are going to execute a command. Okay, everything you're going to do is you're going to execute a command. So just for to start, by the way, so this is how your Linux will be. The command line will be there, and what you're going to do is, so your prompt will be there here, right side. I am already having a prompt, and so the prompt is telling like this. So now you are going to get you execute a command, you get some output. Okay, you execute some commands, you get some output. And also this prompt will show you some information as well. What is that information? What is the user we logged in? The user we logged in is a root user. Okay, and after that, the name of the server is also mentioned here. So that means the red color is given as the name of the system, sorry, name of the user, and yellow color is coming as name of the system. Usually when you go with the normal Linux operating system, like default operating system, the prompt you may not get colors also. Okay, I am just making it for the end user to feel good, by the way. So here I am getting a username @ the system. So when you go with any prompt, by the way, so you usually get this, but may not be in color. What is the user you logged in, and what is the name of the system? This is the name of the system. Some random name is there. That's okay. All right, so that is how it is going to be. So now I execute a command, so you name, and I'm getting a response, or some command I'm executing, I'm getting some response. So the command you execute, you're going to get the output. What do you want? You execute a command, and you get the output. Based on the output, you understand what really happened. Okay, so this is how your Linux commands will be. Now all you need to do is you need to learn some bunch of commands. Okay, so in the first week, by the way, this week we are going to learn some close to 30 commands, and going forward, whenever the topic comes into picture, maybe another 20 plus commands might come into picture. Okay, So for your day-to-day work, by the way, so around 50 commands is more than enough usually. Okay, I don't think so you execute any other commands. But if you need any other command, as long as you know the context, you have an internet world available, so you can always go and try to get the information from the internet, asking what you are looking for. Okay, but these 50 commands don't take any discount, or at least the first week we start maybe some 25 to 30 commands. Don't take any discount. That means, like, practice really well. You learn those particular commands. I think it's just 25, 30. It's anyone easy to remember. Okay, so that's how it is. Now these commands, whatever you are going to have, is going to have some options, by the way. Sometimes you require some options. Okay, and the options usually will be hyphen single character, hyphen word, or hyphen word. It all depends upon the command, by the way. So for an example, uname. Okay, so hyphen a, if I give, you are getting something else. Uname I gave, I got something. Uname hyphen a, I'm getting something. The same way uname hyphen all, you get it. Like, let's say Java hyphen version, I get it. So if I give Java hyphen version, Java hyphen v, it's telling unrecognized option. And that means Java hyphen version. It is telling, okay, the version. So it all depends, by the way. So now this command is understanding hyphen version or hyphen version, but hyphen v is not understandable by this guy. So hyphen single words are not there, single characters are not. But whereas uname is having hyphen a and hyphen all, like this. Now these also, if you want to know about these particular things, you have to read the documentation, what all the options which is available, okay, what all to be using. That also you start reading. For an example, if it's a Linux command, you always start the internet like this, manual page. How to use manual page, right? You got a device, how to use it manually, you get it, right? The manual page for uname. Okay, you type it and you get it in the internet, you read all the options which is available. Okay, so manual page for something like ls command, you type it and you get the response. You just take and read the options. Over a period of time, you will get used to them. You will start remembering them and things like that. Not every option again. Okay, other than 3-4 options, I also don't know. Okay, so that's fine. You will remember what is needed. If not, you read the documentation and use it. That's okay. This is how it is. And additionally, these commands also sometimes have inputs also. For an example, if I want to add a user, a input is needed. I want to create a file, a input is needed. I want to edit a file, input is needed. Okay, so depends upon, sometimes an input is also needed. Okay, the input also will be there. So just to conclude, a command will be having, or command may be having, not will. Okay, definitely the option is not mandatory. Sometimes the option is mandatory. So the command may have inputs and may have options, and that all depends upon your requirement. Your requirement, command is expecting in some format, you have to execute that in that format, either some option, some input, and things like that. Okay. So this is how the command introduction will be. So just to give you a little comfort, I mean, I'll execute some commands, by the way, or maybe it's not there. I removed it. Okay, that's fine. So I can execute some commands. So for an example, I'm executing /etc/ something I'm executing to so you can see that, so what is the output, by the way. Now you're understanding. I executed a command to know what is operating system, and I'm getting so let's say if I go with a new tab here, so then probably I'll get a Ubuntu here. So now cat /etc* release. So now you're getting it's all Ubuntu, right? So I'm executing a command. My requirement is what? My requirement is to know what is the operating system. I'm executing one command. Maybe you learn that command later. The cat command, it will come later. You're learning one command and you're executing it and seeing the output and you're understanding it. As simple as that. Maybe in Windows, if you want to know the operating system, maybe you go to the My PC, right click properties, and you see that, isn't it? So that's how it is. Even Windows also, ms-dos command to know Windows version. So there should be definitely some command. If I'm WinVer, something is there, is coming in. So you can see this, some command he is executing, system info is executing, and that command DOS prompt is also have, right? So you can also do the same thing in Windows, some of the things. Okay. So, but Linux is completely a command line. So you execute some command based on your requirement, and you do that and get you some output. understand the output. Okay, this has happened, and you realize that okay, this operation has been completed, not completed. Right. So we're going to learn some bunch of commands. So shall we start with the commands? Before going there, any questions?
Sorry. Yeah. So we have some Linux experience. Can we apply that, or we're just gonna start from basics, right?
Yeah, we are going to start from this.
Okay. Also, are we just watching you fully just do Killer Coda, or are we doing it ourselves? Because I opened it up and
No. Yeah, so good point. Actually, I thought of mentioning it. I forgot. So during the session, your focus is just to watch my screen, logically understand what is going on, and practice
Okay.
it always after the session.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I had it open up as well.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you. You're welcome.
Hi Raghu, I was away from desk for a few minutes, so I need to know how to get to the screen that you are looking into. So I log in and then I am able to see some menu items in the.
We'll share you the links, by the way, after the session. No worries.
Okay, so the screen that you are looking that we will be able to get to later.
No, I'll see that this is the same problem will happen when you do the things parallelly while the things are going on the screen. So you miss some details. So Killer Coda, there is a link, by the way. I'll share you this link. Once you open that link, I asked, we are going through Linux basics, and you click on the Linux basics, you will get that screen now.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. All right. So going back, so let's start with the basic understanding of today. I'll not stretch too much. So I'll just take only few more minutes, and we'll just talk any general questions you have, maybe a first day. Yeah, we'll just cover only the ls command and we'll proceed. So when you actually come to the Linux, so you need to understand the Linux directory structure, since you know the Windows directory structure. Okay, Windows directory structure, how you will be having, so it all starts in C drive. Under C drive, you have many files, by the way. So many of the things you don't know, right? Maybe you know that there is a users folder, so for your user data. Maybe there is a Windows, there's a program files. Okay, these are all the things you are not aware. Okay, so you open Windows, by the way, there are many folders. You're not aware of those, right? And you're comfortable with Windows. I'm hoping every one of you is comfortable with Windows, right? So because Windows folder is having, I mean, let's say in C drive Windows folder, C drive Windows, I mean, program files, so there are many directories and you wouldn't bother about them, isn't it? So Linux also, you start looking at that same context only, because a lot of people overthink about Linux. Okay, that's a problem. Okay, you don't know 100% of Windows. You're doing your job on Windows. Why don't you do the same thing on Linux, by the way? Linux is just an operating system. You will do what you want to do. You will learn what you need to learn, right? And that's it. Okay, 100% of Linux, you don't need it, by the way. There is no point in learning 100% Linux. And next 20 years, you'll die with learning Linux only if you go and learn Linux 100%. It can't be that way. Windows also, no one knows. Now you are a user of your Windows. You will do whatever you wanted to do in Windows. Maybe the same Windows machine, you take your, let's say your desktop admin in your company or someone. Okay, he will do something else on your Windows laptop. Okay, now there is a developer, okay, who is developing some applications on Windows. He will do something on the Windows. Now 100%, a single person can't achieve the things, right? Linux also the same thing. It's an operating system. We're a DevOps engineers, and we wanted to deal with Linux to an extent, and we will go to that extent. Not every extent possible. Okay, so keep that context pretty much in your mind, because that's very important, by the way. A lot of people confuse the things here. Okay, they make their life miserable. Okay, don't worry on that particular. Naturally, let it grow. Okay, naturally, you have been working on the Windows. Some other time you need some option, you're learning it. Next time you're using it. The same thing, let it apply to the Linux as well. Okay, let's learn whatever it is. Now, this folder structure, whatever you're seeing in the Windows, Linux also have a lot of folder structure. And if you're interested, I mean, Linux folder structure is very small, by the way, comparing to the Windows. You go and type in internet, I wanted to understand Linux directory structure. You get very good documents. A 15-20 minute time spending also should be fine. If you're really interested also. Okay. You can do on one day. That's fine. So you have different directory structures in Windows. In Windows, you're having C drive, some directory. The same way, Linux, you're going to have is slash. Linux, you're going to have slash, and under slash, you're going to have some directories by the way. And each and every directory has its own purpose in the operating system. Like Windows C drive, Windows is having many directories for its purpose. Here also, you have many directories for its purpose. And usually, if you see, by the way, it is going to be a tree. Okay, so where your main tree is there, which is called as main root. Okay, and all these are sub branches, trees inside that, right? So that's where this forward slash is called as a root directory. Okay, in Windows we use backslash to give the path of the directory. This is okay. In Linux we have a root directory. Okay, where the path of the directory start here. A simple word, a forward slash is called as root directory. In Windows we use backslash. You have seen some diagram. Yeah, in Windows, are you seeing backslashes here? Windows uses backslashes because Windows actually has been created after Unix world, right? Unix already used forward slash, and Windows is some new operating system they're making, so he just used backward slash. As simple as that. Okay, so here uses backward slash. And in Linux, it is preferred to not give any spaces or spaces in the file names or folder names which you create. Don't use any folder names, file name, spaces in the file names. So keep it small letters, and always capital is up to you, by the way, but still always go with the small letters as much as possible, unless until it is needed. And also don't give any spaces. Spaces is very important that you should not give. Okay. Now the next thing is in Linux, by the way, the directory names are case sensitive. So that means in Windows, I don't have Windows environment, but by the way, you create a folder called as let's say demo, small demo, something like that. And you cannot create this folder name called as capital demo in Windows. You can give a try later. In Windows, you create a folder demo, small letters, and you try to create another folder demo with capital letters. You will not be able to do that. So that's where you need to understand that Linux is a case sensitive operating system. The file names and folder names are case sensitive. So here demo is a different one. Capital demo is a different one. Okay, so that's what you're having. Okay, so now irrespective of files, folders, everything, by the way, I'm in some directory, and if I were to know about what all the files which is there in this particular system, the first command you're going to learn for today is the ls command. Ls is a command which will show you the list of files. It is showing you some list of files. Now in the same Windows, by the way, so if I go to the, let's say, Mac OS also, so something like this, I don't have something like this here. For an example, now you can have a view, by the way. So I can go into this view, or I can go into this view, or I can go into this view, or edit this view. Okay, and this one also, so sort out by something. View is there, right? So Linux also, you can have a view by using ls-l. You'll get a long view, so which is basically it will show more information. Going forward, by end of completion of Linux topics, you will know about what is the left hand side, what all you have. The last one is a file name you are seeing now. ls is a command to show the list of files. ls-l is actually going to show you the long list of files, and ls-A will show you the hidden files, and ls-A and -A will show you the hidden files in a long list format. So you see more files coming in. If I use capital A, these are all hidden files. Okay, so hidden files are coming in here. Okay, so this is how in Windows also you have a hidden files and folders concept. Here also you have it. Okay, so here it is pretty much simple. Any file name starting with the dot character is a hidden file. Okay, or a hidden directory. So that's how in Linux you're having ls command to list the files. Maybe in Windows, you double click a folder, you see the list of files automatically. Here, you're just executing ls command to see the list of files. That's it. Okay. So these are the options that I wanted to talk about in ls command. These are the two very important options we generally need in ls. You may have other options, but not needed in general. To start with, this should be fine. All right. So clear? Any questions? So I'll take a pause as well for today. Today topics, I think too many things. So just to understand, by the way, so we are going to, okay, so use Red Hat Linux because enterprise company uses Red Hat Linux. Okay, so we'll go with AWS in 2 days. Until then, we'll just going to use Killer Coda. The Killer Coda link and how to create an AWS account will share you those particular links with you. Okay, including this diagram link. Okay. So including this diagram, what we mind map we made it today, right? So including that one, we'll share with you. So after the session, this one link is having all the things. You simply go with that. All right. So we just learned the Linux basic folder structure. Just it starts with slash. Anyhow, tomorrow folders we talk about, we'll repeat this once again. But the first command to learn is ls command. ls command is going to show you the list of files. So to that extent for today. Any questions? Any extended questions about the training also? Maybe some people just joined today or something. So if you have any extended questions also, please go ahead. No problem. If no one have any questions, feel free to drop. So I'll not teach any more technical things unless a question is technical. Yeah.
Hey Raghu, I have a rudimentary question, but I think it is in context. When I give the command cd/temp, it takes me to a different directory, and when I give just cd temp, it takes me to a different directory. And at the same time, if I try to navigate to privilege directly like OPT, apps, IBM, or something like that, why do I need to give the / at the beginning?
See, basically, like let's say you're saying like you in your C drive folder, you have created a folder name called as Anup, and in your desktop also you have created Anup. Okay, just try to understand this way. Folder name is same, but it is in two different paths. Correct. So now, if you want to go into C drive Anup, you have to give C drive /Anup because you are representing the folder name that you want to go it is under C drive. But whereas the one you want to go onto the desktop, let's say you're giving desktop /Anup. Okay, that means you're telling that you're going into that directory, by the way. So that means if you're giving / by the way, so the folder structure is telling like, you know, the folder is created under / like C drive. So you're telling / or maybe you are in some other location, by the way, you're not giving, I mean, you're giving that other prefix, or if the directory is there in that particular path, you're not giving that particular prefix. So you're just representing where that folder is there. Is that context?
So all the directories under root, if we want to navigate to them, we have to give a /. That's what you mean, right?
Not really. Just maybe tomorrow your question will get solved or answered, by the way. So for an example, I mean, I don't want to confuse others with other topics, by the way, at this point of time. Let it naturally, let me take topic by topic. Please, tomorrow, if you have the same question extended, I will answer that after the topic of folder explanation.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
It is not related to context, but I just want to know the projects which we're working on, we do kind of any documentation like which we do it like on a Jira tools and that anyway, anything we do that?
Yes, we do.
Which one we use?
We'll go with Jira only.
Jira only.
I mean, documentation in the sense like,
we use like as when we go for as per your project, when you showed me that carting and logins, payment gateway, that kind of sprint, what we use in a real-time production, we use sprints, right? Will you show us?
We'll talk in the CI part.
Oh no, normally we use it that do we do that or not on the, that is what my question. Now, I'm not asking right now.
No, we will use that in the companies, by the way. Okay.
Okay.
But for learning purpose, bringing that does not make sense. But however, we use that in the, as a part of process when we do the continuous integration. We'll start
Okay.
from the story and the story development and convert into a commit, convert into an artifact, convert into a deployment, right? So that
Okay.
cycle you see it. So that time I'll show you the Jira part.
You show us on Jira tool itself or just
Jira,
as the, okay.
just Jira. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Few things. First, so Killer Coda practice. Are we supposed to? I mean, I was gonna do it. Do a little bit of practicing for the Linux. You know what we? I mean, because it has like a tutorial where it goes through all the commands like ls and it goes on a list. Should we just do it like that?
No, whatever for this particular training, whatever I teach, those commands you go is fine for me. And anything you want to do additional is your choice. I don't mind.
Okay. And the next thing was the Google Drive where you record all the meetings and stuff like that. I'm not
You
I don't
didn't send
have
me
that.
the link yet, actually. Just text me the link that what you used to join the today so that I'll get some context and reply you properly.
Okay. Perfect. Because yeah, I got it via email. That's how I got it. So it's in my email.
So email also will have some link, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you ping me the link so that I can help you better.
Okay.
Ping me
And okay. And tomorrow are we still doing Linux?
This 5 days first week is going to be Linux.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I guess that's all I want to know for now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi Raghu.
Yeah.
Actually, my question is regarding about like Python scripting. Like, so is it same like shell scripting we are using Python scripting, or like are we doing for different things?
So I mean, technically, answer is yes. I mean, feature-wise, plus will be there in Python. More features will be there in Python than shell. But context-wise, both are being called a script for a reason because both does the
Okay.
logical thing. So yeah, like movie is also called as movie script only, right? Okay, it's a
Yeah.
logic as simple as that.
So we do a lot of other things as well with Python.
Python has a capability to do the plus things than shell.
Yeah. So that's the reason we are learning Python
Right.
scripting.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. For an example, if I mean, both also comes from a different, I mean, for different requirements, by the way. That means like, for an example, if I want to automate certain things in the operating system, okay, so shell is the native one, we'll use that. Whereas let's say I want to automate something, for an example, I want to automate a piece of code to send out, let's say, WhatsApp to maybe like, let's say I want to talk to WhatsApp API and I wanted to send WhatsApp message to 1,000 people. Okay, then probably I'll prefer to go with Python than shell scripting.
Okay.
Things like that. Okay, so that's how it is. Like it has a capability to talk to the applications majorly, the Python, whereas shell is native to the operating system. Anything automate in the operating system, we use that.
So how deep we learn Python here? So that's
I'll teach you.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't see any more hands. Anyone? Any other questions? No questions?
Hello.
Yeah.
Raghu, we have to practice whatever you said in 3 comments in a Killer Coda only, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Not able to hear you, Jack. You need to unmute and talk.
Oh, hey, Raghu. I was trying to log into. I'm on Killer Coda, and I think I saw you on. I think is it basic, but I think for me it takes me to foundation or something. Is that the right field?
No, you're using the wrong link. I'll send you the link. So it
Oh,
has
okay,
to be
okay.
full link actually.
Ah, super then. I appreciate that.
Sir, Killer Coda isn't offline, right?
Killer Coda is, sorry?
Isn't offline, right?
Offline means?
मतलब, we have to use it online, right?
With internet only, browser app, right? So
Oh, okay, that's fine.
yeah.
For these links on the screen, are we looking them up right now or just
No, I'll
one?
send you these links, by the way.
Oh, you're sending us an email, right? Or
I
or
mean,
does it
both the modes you'll get WhatsApp and email as well, both. But you're not giving me the link to determine what is the problem.
yeah, the truth is the WhatsApp group that I'm in for right
No.
now at least is one that's directly with Rohit, but I don't have one that's directly with you, Raghu. So
No, just I'm asking, you're having one link to join to the session. Okay, so you are from the Adams and you open that link, you have a recordings, right?
no, I don't actually.
No, you're not seeing actually. So this
No,
is
I am. Those links,
No, wait,
those.
please, 1 minute. Let me come. So you go here, you clicked on join live session, and on the right side you have recordings. Click on that, and you got yesterday's recording. Today's same recording you'll upload here. Until we'll let you know the further things.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there I go. All right, good.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
No problem.
The recordings were right. Hi, Raghu. Just a clarification. The recordings were redirecting to the YouTube, right? So
just for one or few days. Later, everyone will get into a portal, proper portal.
This is for this to the same portal, right?
No, for a few days, just couple of days, we'll go with at least some people will go with YouTube. Some are already there in the portal. Everyone will get onto the portal soon.
Okay, then thanks.
Yeah, just for our organizing purposes only.
Okay.
Yeah, have to be done that way. We have our own problems. We're just dealing with in a different way. Don't worry. But
No,
changes, we will let you.
as we checked earlier, because I work in an office laptop itself, if there is any different portal, then I won't be able to access it on the laptop. That on the day we checked, right? That is the same portal,
Same
right?
portal. Same
okay
portal.
then. Okay then. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? We have a few more minutes. Any questions? That is okay. Not a problem. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so a few questions. For now, it looks like we're using Killer Coda. Will we ever be using Visual Studio Code or?
We'll go one day. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You said any questions, so.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's okay. Anything, some people are pretty new, by the way, so they just generally have some questions. So, yeah,
okay,
one code editor we talk about, but later when the code comes in, we'll.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the starting of this session, you have mentioned like infrastructure as a code.
Yeah.
So what is that meant by exactly? So whole infrastructure will be coded in a single file or something like that.
Yeah. So if I want to create a server, have you anytime used AWS by any chance?
No, Raghu.
Okay. What is your job experience or something to help you better answer?
I'm working as a AX admin.
So AX admin. So you let's say you know LPAR or something, correct?
Yes. Yeah,
So
correct.
if you want to provision an LPAR, so what do you do? Basically, you execute some commands, blah blah blah. So to create one LPAR, correct?
Yeah, correct. We'll use HMC using GUI. We'll build
Yeah.
the alpha.
Yeah. So the same way, now let's say if I want to automate that, so then what I do, I write some code to provision that.
Yes, correct.
Now LPAR is assuming like it's an infrastructure, like a virtual machine in Unix, right? So AX.
Yes, correct.
Kind of, right? So that means
Yeah,
you're
kind of.
provisioning a virtual machine over the code by using some commands. Okay, is called as infrastructure as a code.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that I mean that breadth goes more and more. That means that comes out and say that, like, you talk to cloud providers like AWS or something. You talk to them. By the way, now here you're talking to the AX bare machine to create a LPAR on that particular machine. Now there you talk to AWS and create a virtual machine and blah 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 resources inside that. That code is considered as IAC, infrastructure as a code.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Raghu.
Yeah.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
So on the link, it shows DevSecOps with AWS Online. So are we doing DevOps or are we doing DevSecOps?
Our training is DevSecOps.
Okay, so it includes some aspect of security.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So is Killer Coda and Rocky Linux is same or different things?
No, Killer Coda is a web page. Killer Coda is is a website name, by the way. Rocky Linux is one of the Linux version.
So we command in a terminal. Is it the same answer we get on both platforms?
Rocky Linux is not a platform.
Okay.
Rocky Linux is a Linux operating system. Same like Windows. Like Killer Coda is like something like your Gmail, gmail.com. It's a web page.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah, hi, Ravi.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some background noise. Sorry for that. And you said that we are going to use a DevSecOps, right? So
Right.
DevSecOps means it's more than DevOps, right? Like what are the content in DevOps and plus security ops, right?
Not really. I would not see that way. As a part of your release, by the way, so security is also security is all the aspect you're adding as a part of your release is called as DevSecOps.
Okay, so like I mean, because remaining instance they are saying that DevOps like that. So complete the content will be same in addition to security, right?
Including the security, yes.
Okay. And yeah, right now we are using a Killer Coda, right? Yesterday expand from using Killer Coda. So in real-time scenarios, like in workplace, I asked you on Red Hat. So in further classes, can you show that environment also?
No, here also we are using Red Hat only, right? Killer Coda also we are using Red Hat only.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, like operating system is we are using Windows. From that by using the browser, we are going to the Killer Coda, right?
Correct.
So in workplaces, we will also get the laptops with the Windows OS only.
Of course.
That I'm asking. Okay.
Are you not a working guy?
No, I'm not an IT guy. I'm a new to IT. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, you get laptops. Either it has to be a Windows or Mac OS mostly.
Okay. Thank you.
almost time up exactly. So let's meet in tomorrow and we'll start learning more Linux commands. Okay. See you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks everyone.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Good day. Good night.